listen to an EDM track that would sound so good that it would send chills down your spine and you can feel the hairs rising on your body? Well, it's not just magic though. It's a combination of science, psychology, and music theory. And today I'm going to break down how to achieve that in your own music. Let's get into it. Every emotional EDM track needs a blueprint. Doesn't matter if it's Millennium's heart wrenching songs or if it's Avicii's super catchy progressive loops. There's always a blueprint. And it's as follows: you have the melody, the chords, and the dynamics. The melody is the core emotional hook. This is what listeners remember when they're listening to the song. It could be a chill song having long, sustained notes, or it could be a heavier song or a faster paced song having short but very, very in your face specific notes. But all this won't matter if you don't have a nice chord progression. The chord progression is what brings context to the melody. You can have a melody that sounds not that good on its own, but then when you put it over a nice chord progression, it becomes magic. It's what gives context to the melody. And the chords are actually what bring the main emotion to the song. You can have a uplifting chord progression. This will give you a sense of, maybe if it's in a minor scale, it will give you a sense of a hero who has fallen, who's getting back up on their feet, maybe. Or you can have a very ominous chord progression that's very simple, but this will create tension and it will give you a sense of maybe evil if you put it in a Phrygian scale, for example. But these two are not enough. You need dynamics. Without dynamics, the song will become boring and your listeners won't want to listen to the end of it. The dynamics is what's the little extra, but the most important part actually. It's the you can't have loud without having quiet. You can't have wide without having narrow. It's the reason why the build up feels so satisfactory when you get to the drop. It's the quiet verse into the build up that builds tension, and then you have the release in the drop. So let's build some emotion. Alright, so now that we have some pretty sick chords, I want to actually take the last one and keep working with it a little bit because I actually really like this idea. It sounds really good already on its own. But this is a perfect example where it could bring me to the next point, which is layering and textures. And this is really what's going to bring your whole song to life. So let's get into it. Right, so I've gone ahead and just added a little bit of layers to this. So you can just like, it's not a lot. I really didn't do much here, but it really just helped bring it out even more and just bring out that very emotional style. It almost sounds like a dabbing track, actually. Let's hear what it sounds like without the extra effects. And then with the extra effects I added. So the layers consist of a pulsing layer that's very mellowed down. It's like a sawy kind of layer pad, like layer pad, that's been low passed, and then it has like a pulsing side chain almost kind of vibe to it with the audio automation. And it's also been reverbed like crazy. And then I have this vocal pad kind of sound. Sounds really nice in this chord stack. So there you have some layers that you can work with, and that would like, this sounds really good already on its own. This would be enough to start a song with for sure. I wouldn't like add too many elements here because there's got to be space for a vocal as well. But let's try and see if we can build this track out a little bit more so we can talk about some of the dynamic elements. Alright, so I've added a lot of elements here, but this is like, we're talking like 10 minutes worth of work. So this is like very bare bone. But this will give you a pretty good idea of what it means to have dynamics in a song. So let's take a listen to it. So this is as we know it, as I showed you before. And I added that little snare kind of hit to it. And now comes a lot of extra. You increase loudness here by a lot. And also there's a lot of sub notes here in the bass. And then we cut it. Okay, so we went from loud to quiet. Right before the drop hits. That's sick. The last thing I want to kind of touch upon before leaving you guys here is the thing that I feel like really not many people talk about when it comes to making music in general, and especially when you want to make emotional EDM music. That's the storytelling part. You want your music to tell a story, and you want to have that story in mind anytime you start a project, while you're working on it, and as you're finishing it. Having this sense of direction will help you make better choices in your sound selection, in your melodies, in your chords, and just for the whole song in general. If you know the vibe you're going for and the story you want to portray with this song you're making, it's gonna have such a much better emotional impact on the listener because everything is done for a reason. And that's the last thing I want to kind of touch upon here. So now you know the secrets. Now it's your turn to go apply it to your own music. Comment down below and tell me the most emotional EDM track you've ever heard. And if you want to make more breakdowns like this, then subscribe and I'll probably make more. Bye, guys.